London is hemorrhaging residents, and the numbers that just came out are nothing short of catastrophic. 347,000 people fled London in the last 18 months alone. Let that sink in for a moment. That is the entire population of a city just gone, vanished, packed up and left. The capital that spent 5 centuries positioning itself as the most desirable city on the planet is now watching 12,000 residents pack their bags and leave every single week. And these are not tourists heading home after a holiday. These are not students returning to their home countries after finishing their degrees. These are permanent residents. These are British citizens. These are families who have lived here for generations upon generations, all reaching the exact same conclusion at the exact same time. London just is not worth it anymore. Let me start with the reality that nobody in government or media wants to talk about openly. London's population has gone into reverse for the first time since the Black Death of 1348. Think about that for a second. The last time London saw this kind of population decline was during a plague that killed half of Europe. After decades of consistent growth that saw London hit 9 million residents in 2020, the momentum has completely and utterly collapsed. Office for National Statistics data shows that net domestic migration is now negative 347,000. That means more British citizens are fleeing London than arriving, and this trend is accelerating month after month. The government does not advertise these numbers because, frankly, it looks absolutely terrible for a world capital to be emptying out like water draining from a bathtub. But council tax records tell the real story. GP registrations tell the real story. School enrollment data tells the real story. Between January and November 2024, an estimated 420,000 residents left London permanently. The only reason the population is not collapsing even faster is international students and refugees replacing British families. But even they are starting to leave now. The biggest reason people are leaving is brutally simple. London has become mathematically impossible for anyone who is not in the top 5% of earners. And even those people are getting absolutely crushed under the weight of costs. Let me talk about rent first because it has become absolutely insane. A 1-bedroom flat in Zone 2, and I am talking about areas like Clapham or Brixton or Hackney, was running about £1,200 monthly back in 2019. That exact same flat today costs £2,400. That is a 100% increase in just 5 years. 2-bedroom flats that families actually need have gone from £1,800 to £3,800 in anything resembling a decent area. Do you want a house with a garden for your children to play in? £4,000 minimum, and that is in Zone 4, not even central London. Meanwhile, salaries have not kept pace, not even close. The average London salary increased maybe 15% over that same period. Most people got 0 raises or below inflation adjustments that do not actually cover anything when you look at real costs. Here is what that means in practice for real people trying to live their lives. A mid-level professional making £45,000 annually, which is actually above the UK median income, used to spend around 30% of their take-home pay on rent. Today, that exact same person is spending 70% of their entire paycheck just for the privilege of having shelter. After tax, they are taking home about £2,800 monthly and paying £2,000 of that just for rent. That leaves £800 for everything else. Food, transport, clothes, savings, entertainment. It is mathematically impossible to build any kind of life. If you are finding this breakdown helpful, please share this video with someone you know who is struggling with these exact decisions. Send it to your group chat, post it on your social media. Every share helps this information reach people who genuinely need it, and together we can have an honest conversation about what is happening to our cities. Transport costs have exploded right alongside everything else. A Zone 1 to Zone 3 travel card was £2,000 annually in 2019. It is now £2,800. That is just to get to work and back. But here is the hidden cost nobody talks about. Time. The average London commute is now 74 minutes each way. That is 2.5 hours daily. That is 12 hours weekly. That is 600 hours yearly. You are spending 25 full days per year just commuting, just sitting on trains and buses going back and forth. People are moving further and further out to afford rent, but then they spend more on transport and lose their entire lives to commuting. Zone 6 might look cheaper on paper, but when you are spending 4 hours daily on trains and £3,000 annually on travel, you are not saving anything. You are just dying slowly while your life passes you by in a crowded carriage. For families specifically, London has become completely impossible. Childcare now costs more than university tuition. Average nursery fees are £2,000 monthly per child. That is £24,000 annually after tax for just one child. Schools are an absolute nightmare. Good state schools are oversubscribed by ratios of 10 to 1 or higher. You literally need to live within 200 metres of the school gates to have any chance of getting your child in, but houses near good schools cost millions of pounds. Cannot afford that. Private school is £25,000 per year per child. Run the numbers on what a family with 2 children actually needs. A 3-bedroom flat costs £4,000 monthly. Childcare or school fees are another £4,000 monthly. Basic living costs add another £2,000 monthly. That is £10,000 monthly just to exist at a basic level. That is £120,000 annually after tax. You need to earn £180,000 before tax just to break even. How many jobs in the entire country pay that kind of salary? The birth rate in London has collapsed. It is down 34% in just 5 years. Families are fleeing the city, or they are never forming in the first place. London is rapidly becoming nothing more than a temporary stop for people in their 20s before the mathematics of reality forces them out. Crime has exploded, while policing has simultaneously collapsed. Knife crime is up 43%. Phone thefts are up 300%. You cannot walk down the street with your phone out anymore without constantly looking over your shoulder. Women do not feel safe in this city. Sarah Everard, Sabina Nessa, Zara Alina. These are not statistics on a page. These are real women who were murdered just trying to get home. Every woman in London has developed a safety strategy now. Keys gripped between fingers, fake phone calls to imaginary friends, never walking alone after dark. But even supposedly safe areas are not safe anymore. Hampstead had 17 burglaries just last month. Chelsea had a knife attack in broad daylight. Nowhere in the city is immune from this anymore. The Metropolitan Police is officially in special measures. That is government speak for completely and utterly broken as an institution. Response times for emergencies now average 52 minutes. For non-emergencies, they simply do not come at all. You report a crime online and you get a crime number for your insurance claim. That is the extent of police engagement. That is it. The NHS in London is effectively dead for practical purposes. GP appointment wait times average 3 weeks. Need to see a specialist. You are looking at 6 months minimum. Accident and emergency waiting times average 8 hours. People are literally dying in waiting rooms. Private healthcare exists if you can afford £300 for a simple GP visit and thousands for any actual procedure. Health insurance that covers meaningful things costs £5,000 annually for basic coverage. Dental care on the NHS essentially does not exist anymore. 9 out of 10 dentists will not take NHS patients. A private dentist charges £300 just for a checkup. Need actual dental work done? You are looking at thousands of pounds. Mental health services have 18-month waiting lists. And this is happening while London has the highest depression and anxiety rates anywhere in Europe. London is the loneliest city on earth, and studies actually prove this statistically. 9 million people crammed together and nobody talks to anyone. Community is dead in this city. Your neighbours do not know your name. Local pubs have closed in staggering numbers, 3,000 in the last decade alone. Community centres have been sold off and converted to flats. Historic churches have been converted into climbing walls and coffee shops. Dating has become impossible when everyone is too broke, too tired, and too stressed to actually engage with other human beings. The average age of first-time buyers is now 41 years old. How exactly do you build a relationship and start a family when you are still flat sharing at 35? Friendship groups dissolve as people flee to other cities. Your university friends are gone to Manchester. Work colleagues last about 6 months before they move away. Everyone in London is temporary now. Nothing roots, nothing lasts, nothing grows. Let me ask you something right now. If this video is opening your eyes to what is actually happening, hit that like button immediately. The algorithm decides whether to show this video to more people based largely on how many likes it gets in the first hour. Your single click genuinely matters. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is the time. Who is replacing the British exodus? International students paying £40,000 annually who leave after studying. Tech workers on temporary visas who treat London as a short career stepping stone. Ultra-wealthy foreigners who do not actually live here but just park their money in property investments. London is becoming a hotel rather than a home, a transit point rather than a destination. The soul of the city is dying as established communities are replaced by temporary residents who have no stake in the city's future. Schools are emptying of British children at alarming rates. Some primary schools are now 90% international students. This is not diversity, this is transience. These families leave after a few years. There is no continuity, there is no community building. The city is hollowing out from within. British culture, Cockney accents, local traditions and customs, all of it is disappearing. It is being replaced by a generic global city that could be anywhere on Earth. London is losing everything that actually made it London. People are not just leaving for cheaper rent, they are leaving for actual lives. Manchester offers 60% lower costs with similar professional salaries. Birmingham gives you an entire house for the price of a London room. Edinburgh provides genuine culture without the crushing costs that drain your will to live. But many are not just leaving London, they are leaving the United Kingdom entirely. 43,000 Londoners moved to Dubai just last year. Spain received 67,000 former London residents. Australia took 38,000. These people are not coming back. They have made their calculations and decided that life is simply better elsewhere. Remote work has broken what I call the London trap. Why would anyone pay £2,000 monthly for a tiny box in Zone 3 when you can work from a beach in Portugal for £500? Why commute 2 hours each day when you can walk to a local office in Bristol in 10 minutes? The calculation has become devastatingly simple. In London, you merely exist. Elsewhere, you actually live. People are choosing life over prestige. London is now trapped in a death spiral that it cannot escape. High costs drive out residents. Fewer residents means less tax revenue for the city. Less revenue means worse public services. Worse services drive out more residents, and the cycle repeats until complete collapse. The city needs £8 billion annually just for basic infrastructure maintenance, but the tax base is shrinking rapidly. Businesses are leaving. Retail is effectively dead. Oxford Street now sits 30% empty with boarded-up storefronts. Office occupancy hovers around 40%. The City of London financial district is emptying out. Major banks are moving operations to Frankfurt, Paris and Dublin. Brexit killed London's position as Europe's business gateway. Technology companies are fleeing to Amsterdam. What exactly is left? Tourism is down 40% from pre-2019 levels. International students face increasing visa restrictions. Financial services are being absorbed by Singapore and Dubai. Tech has chosen Dublin and Berlin as its European homes. London has no coherent plan except hoping that rich foreigners keep buying property they never actually live in. That is not a city. That is a Ponzi scheme dressed up in historical architecture. And Ponzi schemes always collapse eventually. London is dying, not dramatically, not obviously, just slowly emptying of everyone who made it worth living in. The teachers, the nurses, the artists, the entrepreneurs, the community builders, all leaving or already gone. What remains is a hollowed-out investment vehicle for global capital, a theme park for tourists, a temporary stop for international students, but not a home, not a community, not a place where anyone can realistically build a life anymore. The exodus is not slowing down. It is actively accelerating. Every month breaks new records for the number of people leaving. The city that survived the plague, the Great Fire, the Blitz, 2 world wars, and countless other challenges could not survive simple greed. Nobody wants to live in London anymore because London does not want anyone to actually live there. It only wants your money. And once you realise that fundamental truth, leaving becomes the only sane choice remaining. If this video has helped you understand what is really happening, please do 3 things for me right now. First, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Second, smash the like button to help this reach more people who need to see it. Third, drop a comment below telling me your experience. Are you still in London? Have you left? Are you planning to leave? I read every single comment, and I want to hear your story. Share this video with anyone you know who is wrestling with these exact decisions. Together, we can have an honest conversation about the future of our cities. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.